Good morning, everybody. Welcome to today's 1Mby1M Strategy Roundtable for Entrepreneurs. 1M1M, as you know, is the first and only global virtual accelerator in the world for startups. We run it out of Silicon Valley, but entrepreneurs from all around the world participate in the program. Our mission is to help 1 million entrepreneurs reach $1 million and beyond in annual revenue, build $1 trillion of global GDP, and 10 million jobs. This is the 348th free mentoring roundtable that we've been running since the fall of 2008. It started with a little experiment and then blossomed into the full-blown 1M1M program at the end of 2010, and we have never looked back. So it's been a privilege of working with over 50,000 entrepreneurs at these sessions, and thousands of entrepreneurs in our premium program as well. The event is being recorded. You will have the recording available on our blog as well as the YouTube channel. You can join us on Twitter at 1Mby1M and at Romana. We publish a lot of interesting content through those channels. If you're live tweeting the show today, please use hashtag 1M1M. And our YouTube channel is 1M1M Roundtables. If you go there, you'll find tons and tons of interesting, both recordings of prior sessions as well as other interesting contents, tutorials, case studies, etc., that are really, really informative, educational, inspirational. So I encourage you to all take advantage of that learning material. Now, this is a roundtable, so we would like you to participate as much as possible. These are the call-in instructions for the phone line. I will put this back up later when we are ready for your calls. But do plan on calling in and participating in public chat, introducing yourselves and so forth. This is a networking platform as well. It's a group that you want to leverage. We're going to start today's session with a conversation with Joshi, co-founder of Saatva. And it's a fascinating story. I have gotten to know Ricky and his story, the story of Saatva over the years. And we bring you Joshi. Ricky, welcome.
Thank you, Susobhan. Glad to be here.
So Ricky, why don't we start with you telling us about Saatva? What do you do?
So Saatva is an online mattress disruptor. We were the original online mattress disruptor. Now there are a bunch of them that have entered this space. However, our business is a little different. We're a premium luxury player. We actually built a national infrastructure, so 18 factories produce our mattress, 130 distribution centers, which allows us to have in-home delivery, mattress removal, and allows us to sell a premium product. We're not limited by our delivery method, so we're not limited because we have to ship a bed in a box, for example. We actually now have 3 brands. Our primary brand is Saatva, which is a luxury inner spring bed. Our second brand is Lumen Leaf, which is a natural memory foam mattress. And our third brand, Zenhaven, launched about 10 months ago. It's a all-natural latex bed, which I can get into what that means later. Latex has actually some negative connotations, and in reality, all-natural latex is an amazing kind of material to make a mattress with. Yeah, we have 3 brands.
So how did you come up with this idea? What role did mattresses play in your life that you decided to build a mattress brand?
Well, I think it's twofold. Number one, sort of when I was, just leaving business school and wanted to get a bed, maybe I was, this is around, 2006, and it was a little early for my time, so I ordered a bed online. And actually, it was off Craigslist. It wasn't great. It wasn't the best experience, but, I wasn't really into going to a mattress store and so all this and going through that process. So I think that kind of it was an early introduction. What ended up happening is, I've been a serial entrepreneur. I had an agency before this, and I met Ron Rudson, who actually had been in the furniture industry for a long time. Ron is was my co-founder, and he started Jennifer Furniture, and he really identified the mattress issue. You know, what you have is at that point you had one of the most inefficient marketplaces for a pretty high-ticket item. And for an average order value of $2,000, you would expect, you know, premium customer service. You would expect really a concierge experience, and you expect to not be price gouged. At the end of the day, all those things were occurring. I saw that very quickly as an internet entrepreneur. I saw the opportunity for disruption, and really being able to deliver kind of a far better product for a variety of reasons that I can get into. For a much more reasonable price. So we call ourselves accessible luxury. So really Saatva started off with the premise that because of the inefficiencies, we were able to bring a $2,500 to $3,000 product to market for less than $1,000.
So we see a lot of e-commerce retail businesses. It's really turned the retail world upside down, e-commerce has. Now, yours is a niche brand that sells your own products. Tell us how you got off the ground.
You know, and I think that just brings a great point. I think that, you know, I always tell people that if you really want to kind of have sort of scalable success, it's much better off to start off with your own product. If you're sort of selling something that can be sold on Amazon, you might do okay. But really you're getting into a lot of, you know, there's a minefield out there of competitors and really driving price down, and you don't really have control over your supply chain. You have no ability to increase your margins as, you know, say example, marketing can get more expensive, et cetera. So owning your own product and owning your own brand, I think is instrumental to success. Yeah.
So how did you get it off the ground is more what I'm interested in.
Okay.
Remember, we are trying to help entrepreneurs learn from your journey.
Sure. So I think, you know, it's a long question, and I could probably talk about this for a while. I think there are a couple things. One, I think that finding a great, diverse team in terms of skill set was critical. So myself, you know, I've been an internet marketer. I understand, you know, AdWords, PPC, SEO, you know, affiliates, the nuances of marketing online. My co-founder, Ron, really, you know, came from a furniture background and had that expertise. So the nicest thing was Ron was able to keep up as fast as I could run. So if I was able to drive growth, Ron was able to sort of build it in terms of the operational expertise and kind of putting it all together. I think to add to that, another co-founder of ours, Chris Brower, CTO, you know, brought a technical skill set that allowed us to really scale systems. Then we have, you know, two kind of silent partners and advisors who also sort of had kind of very industry-oriented expertise. So, you know, really having a cross-generational founding team. You know, I'm in my 30s now. Ron is, you know, in his 50s. And, you know, a cross-generational team, I think, was amazing and really worked. In terms of actually getting it off the ground, you know, I think we had some capital that we put into it, but we really started regionally. So, you know, so we started in the Northeast, and we targeted the Northeast, and then we went to California, and we sort of filled in the gaps as we grew. So we started small and really were focused on profitability out of the get-go. It's atypical. I think that there are, you know, many companies that will go and think they need to make a huge splash, and it works, you know, and they raise VC money, and you know, and boom, you know, they're big. One of our competitors, Casper, I mean, that was their model. Our model was different. You know, we started off small. We were the early mover, and we did it slowly but surely. At the end of the day, I think that model number 2, particularly in the United States, which is the VC and big splash sort of model, is what everyone kind of aspires to. My perspective is there is another way.
And that's absolutely in tune with the 1M1M perspective. Is not only there is another way, over 99% of the companies that go to seek VC financing get rejected. So not only is there another way, that is the way that you're you have a higher probability of success.
Absolutely, and I think the other thing I'd also add is just generating, for us, a transactional business, a business where you're actually generating revenue allows for you to scale that growth and control that growth without having to raise external capital. So
speaking of your own capital, I know you and Ron put in money to get this thing off the ground. How much of your own money did you put in to get this off the ground?
So on day one, the total we had put together as a group was $350,000.
And what was your production and inventory strategy? Where were you producing the product and so forth?
So that's sort of how we started. We regionally sourced in New Jersey. It took over a year. I mean, Ron had been working on it for a number of years, but even sort of when we were closer to the final stages to kind of get the suppliers and make sure the factory had the right tooling, it took about a year. But a lot of that capital went into sort of guarantees to the factory, making sure that there would be a certain level of production, investment in capital equipment, into the supply chain, into the delivery method, et cetera. And into sort of getting early employees started and just sort of getting the company rolling.
So you were producing. You started with a factory, or were you outsourcing the production in the beginning?
Sorry, we didn't own the factory. So we don't own our factories. We contract manufacture. So we tool the factory, we supply the factory, we train the factory. We essentially utilize the factory's resources, pay a little bit of a markup for that, and that's how we do it.
And how did you design the product? It seems like you have not only achieved price level differentiation, you've also achieved product level differentiation. And to some extent, to achieve the price level differentiation in the luxury mattress category, you had to achieve product level differentiation as well. How did you design the product? Who designed the product, and what was the strategy there?
So that's where Ron's background really came into play. Ron's background in the furniture space, as well as one of our silent partners who has a lot of vertical product expertise. He has been, a furniture designer for many, many years, and really knew the nuances of the mattress vertical as well. So, it has been about 5 years coming in terms of learning about the space and putting it together and building the right bed. So, when we started with Saatva, there are a number of product differentiators. One, we really wanted to make sure that we were a green player. So, a lot of times you'll go and you'll pay a premium at a mattress store and you won't get necessarily a green product. That was really, really important to us to make sure that we were differentiated that way. So we use organic cotton. We used recycled steel that's been tempered 3 times. We use biofoam. We try to use an all-natural flame retardant. So a number of differences there. Number 2, in terms of the mattress design, we basically worked with a bunch of mattress professionals to really put it together, but it's a dual coil mattress as opposed to a single coil mattress, and that's our core Saatva. And the difference there and the distinction is when you have a single layer of coils, you really, it's just one place where there can be sinkage. When you have 2 layers of coils, there's actually distribution of the weight, so it ends up being a win-win for the customer and for us. Our win is that there are less warranty claims. The customer is happy because there's no sinkage, they don't have to return the bed, so it's just a win-win.
Okay. And talk about customer acquisition. Did you go straight e-commerce and did digital customer acquisition? And if so, then what was the customer acquisition strategy that worked for you?
So our strategy, and we're very different with the heavy items, so it's different from other types of items, and we had to design the strategy around that. Originally, it was very soft, friends and family, early testing. When we actually formally launched, we targeted sort of regions where we could have fast delivery and low cost of delivery. We would still fulfill national orders, but we would actually charge for national orders. So we would we would fit in what the an estimate of what the actual shipping would cost nationally. So if there was, if we're shipping from our factory in New Jersey and someone ordered a bed in Idaho, we would do it, but delivery might be $700. So that was sort of intentionally there to really sort of dissuade customers from actually purchasing outside of the region we were targeting. I think the great thing is the strategy worked for us for a time until we really felt that we could safely kind of bring in the whole country at one sort of price level. And I remember the day that we were able to do $99 national in-home delivery. It was great. The limitations were gone, but we really grew into that. So, and even as late as 2013, if you were in, parts of Montana, you would see $297 delivery. And in 13, that's really when it all shifted towards, enough kind of saturation of factories, and we had enough momentum to really launch nationally.
And, but all the way, what was the core strategy of getting in front of customers? Was it Google PPC? How were people finding your SEO?
Yeah, well, so PPC was really big in the early days, just because we had to be targeted geographically. So SEO was great for us. SEO is free, so we did a great job at SEO. And SEO, out of the gate, I think we had some really smart SEOs. I was on a great team. It's something I enjoy as well. So we were able to really do well at SEO immediately. Augmented by PPC was a really strong internet strategy. As we sort of grew, we sort of did some out of market, and so for example, we started advertising in the New York Times, I believe in 2012. Because we actually had a lot of saturation at that point in the New York area and readers of the New York Times. Even though it's a national paper, we felt that it was, geographically correlated enough with our audience that it made sense. Yeah, and then I think once we sort of hit a sort of a more of a national footprint, our strategy sort of changed to a number of acquisition methods.
And how do you compete with existing products in your niche? You started off by saying you've brought down a $2,500, $3,000 product to a under $1,000 price point. Is that your core competitive strategy?
It's twofold. Number one, it's really the price point. So there's no question. We always say that. We're really bringing you, a BMW or a Lexus for a Honda Civic price. Nothing wrong with a Honda. There's nothing. The BMW might not be what you want. Maybe you want an Audi. Maybe you want an Infiniti. But you're going to enjoy that car more than the price point that you would normally have at $1,000. So you're going to enjoy. You're really going to get that luxury experience at a reasonable price point that's accessible, we feel like, to most of the country, and resonates. Number two, mattress stores historically really never operated in a very clean way. Actually, Saatva means transparency and truth, and the reason for that is because we felt the mattress industry wasn't transparent and wasn't truthful. So what you end up happening with the mattress industry historically is you end up with the same manufacturer changing a model very slightly. So for example, they'll put a stitching in a different place to make sure that you can't price shop versus two different retailers. They also would really fight their customers, and they still do, on warranty claims. So they're very strict about measuring with a ruler and if there's sinkage. Well, our philosophy is if there's sinkage, we better get that bed back and figure out why we screwed up. It's a very, very different way. And number three, just being able to access, if you try to call a retailer and you have an issue with the bed, they'll put you on hold. So you'll talk to 5 people. You'll have a bunch of paperwork to sign out. We are 24/7 concierge. Someone will answer the phone and immediately take care of you, assign you to a rep. You'll get a phone call the next day. I mean, we have almost excessive customer service. And so I think the combination of two in an industry that, was basically trying to essentially trick customers, and I can even explain more of other things they were doing, and then really fighting customers on their issues. We wanted to be the exact opposite of that.
Mm-hmm. So can you talk us through the scale metrics? When did you start? How long did it get you to $1 million revenue run rate, annual revenue? And then what was the growth path from there on?
So our first, we launched a very soft launch in late 2010. So revenues in 2010, I know a couple $100,000, maybe not even. In 2011, we did $2 million. In 2013, it was about 6. Am I wrong? Sorry, 12, it was around 5.5, 6. 13 was somewhere in the 10-ish range. 14 was closer to 30. In 15, we did closer to 80. On 16, we did about a 160.
And what are the key levers of this kind of growth? You've basically grown at venture capital pace. Like 2010 to 2016, you've built a very fast growth company. And is it still all self-financed, or have you used any other kind of financing?
Nope, we're still self-financed. And we actually take pride in being self-financed. I think at this point, if we were able to take in capital, we feel like we've really gotten to the point where we would take growth capital to really, take this to, and reach an out-of-market customer and really take it to the next level. However, it's still self-funded to this day. I think it comes down to two things: incredible discipline. We've had operational discipline, and we've had in terms of spending, everything from our office space to the way that we negotiate with our delivery, representatives, to the way that we operate our factories and inventory. We've been just discipline. And the same thing on the marketing side. We've scaled. I always say, scale if you can. So we don't believe in budgets. We believe in scaling. I have no problem spending on an acquisition channel. If the acquisition channel works, it's limitless. It doesn't bother me that I'm giving an acquisition channel a lot, paying them a lot if I'm seeing the return. However, we have data scientists on our team. We have really sophisticated marketers on our team, and I think that can't be understated. Like, for example, attribution, where did the customer originate from? Was it the first time they saw the ad, or was it the last time? What's the model that makes sense and works, and looking at historical data? So, we actually have a lot of nerds at the company, and I think that's a distinction. We're not just trying to be cool and hip. We really have hired people who have a very methodical view of marketing and operations.
And did you use any kind of inventory financing from banks?
We did not. So that was all sort of self-done as well. And because we were able to grow, because the way that we grew, which is region by region, we were able to essentially support. We would only go to another region if we felt that we could support it with the profits from the earlier regions.
And what about team size? How many people do you have in the company? What is the organization structure that helps you scale at this pace?
So we have it's sort of a unique structure. We have 2 offices. So we have our operations offices that are in the tri-state area, and we have our tech team and marketing team and design is based out of Austin, Texas. So 2 teams, e-commerce team in Texas and Austin, and and sort of the ops team is in New York. Overall, the company total has close to 200 employees, of which 170 of them are in New York. A lot of them are customer service and product. So of that, maybe 170, 130 or so are customer service and warranties, et cetera. And then the remainder are, new product development, et cetera, analytics on the logistics side, which there's a significant amount of that, believe it or not. And then our e-commerce office in Austin is about 20 people, also growing actually pretty quickly, and that's made up of marketing and tech.
And in how you're scaling the company, is the tri-state area still your largest customer base?
It is because of I think just the size of the tri-state area. So our customer base is pretty interesting. We do really well in urban markets, of course, and the coast. However, we really do well across the United States, believe it or not. And I think one of our greatest strengths is we're truly a national company. So we do well in the suburbs of Dallas and the suburbs of Columbus, Ohio. We do amazingly well, overrepresented in Austin, Texas, and Seattle, and cities like Portland, Denver, because I think maybe of the green element. So we do well where you'd expect, and we do a little better in some areas than one would think.
And those are the areas where you have your factories. You said you have 18 factories.
We have factories, yes, around the country. So, but there's not necessarily a heavy correlation between actual sales and factories.
Oh, I see. So what is the shipping strategy? Where are people assembling your products close to where the demand is, or is it in central locations and then they're being shipped across?
So it's a hub and spoke model. So what we do is we basically do produce the bed, and then we end up going to distribution centers where we feel that there is significant demand. So for example, our factory in Texas and Houston, however, we have significant demand in Austin, San Antonio, and Dallas, and we have distribution centers at each location. Okay,
got it. Great. Well, it's what fascinates me and delights me is that it's a venture scale growth company with no venture capital, and I love the discipline and the capital efficiency of the model. So it's wonderful to showcase your journey for our entrepreneurs here to listen to and to get inspired by.
Well, thank you very much. Yeah, if I have one thing to say, it's be disciplined. We've been disciplined, and I think that has really gotten us pretty far.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we are going to switch to the mentoring part of the program today. Folks, I want to set some expectations here. Remember, we are on your side. This is a working session. It's a safe forum where you can discuss your issues, your challenges, what are you getting stuck on, and we'll do our best to give you our perspective on how to mitigate that. But this is something that you should feel very comfortable interacting with. And the other thing that I want you to be aware of is that it's very possible that the feedback you get from me or from Ricky today, you may disagree with that feedback. That's okay. It's your venture. You do whatever you want with it. You can consider what we have to say, and obviously we are speaking based on some experience, but ultimately you are going to be the final decision maker. So consider the feedback and then do what you feel is right. One thing, however, is kind of non-negotiable. Not all businesses can raise money. Remember, we said earlier in the conversation with Ricky that over 99% of the businesses that go out to seek financing get rejected. So there are specific criteria of raising money, and if you don't fit those criteria, just beating on investors' door is not going to yield anything. Not all businesses can raise money. Not all businesses should raise money. That's another thing that you need to consider. And raising money doesn't guarantee success. So the whole financing strategy is a complex, set of decisions that we will try to help you with. And in the 1M1M Premium program, we extensively work with all these issues. So we will work with you today to give you as much perspective as possible. And if you're not pitching, please also participate in the public chat. This is a roundtable. It's not a broadcast. So the more you ask questions, the more you engage, the more you're going to get out of these sessions. Okay, Victor Lim, you are starting off. Please unmute your line and tell us what you're working on. Breakdance.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. So my name is Victor. I'm actually a dentist. I graduated from University of Michigan in 2012. Fun fact, I used to break dance. You can see my picture there.
Go ahead.
Okay, so what I'm building is, I'm the only founder. I developed this idea, I designed it, and I'm working with some software developers to get my project built. It's not finished yet. It's almost nearing completion. I'm almost done. Bootstrapping has caused a long delay, though. So let me explain what it is. It's going to be a social media platform for business professionals, kind of like a content network. Now, if you look at the way social media marketing is currently done right now, it's all highly based on interruption advertising. Everything is basically like a spam post. They try to grab your attention and pull you away from what you're doing. But most consumers don't like interruption marketing. They'll actually pay to remove these type of ads. Auxo is going to be a social media platform where users can market themselves in a way that's not done with interruption marketing. They don't need to spam links every hour like it's done on Twitter. Shouting out, buy my services doesn't work well. People don't like to be sold anything, but they do like to buy. If they like you and trust you, they'll want to buy from you. A common effective marketing strategy is content marketing. People go on Google to ask questions and search for answers all the time. It's basically what drives the internet. When people are actively searching for a solution, they're more open to receiving information. They'll read blog posts and articles. And if they're exposed to multiple articles that are helpful to them, they'll want to find out more about you and buy from you. That's the power of content marketing. A great example of this is done by Neil Patel. He's a very well-known digital marketing expert and has tons of helpful articles about digital marketing online. If you read enough of his articles, you'll probably want to work with him. So we have three main groups of our target customers. One is solo practitioners that own their own business, like service professionals, accountants, lawyers, doctors, practice owners. Another group are people that help these people run their business, so like business consultants, marketing consultants, copywriters, content writers, web developers, basically any freelancer that offer their service to help other business owners. And our last target is any other small business owner that need these type of services, accounting, legal, or anything that they need to help run their business. You can go to the next slide. So as you can see, it's going to be a modernized discussion board. It's going to be a social media platform for people to market themselves in a more natural and organic way. Instead of just spamming and dropping links and doing interruption marketing, we want to create actual engagement, have real human interaction. So people can start meaningful conversations, they can discuss challenges with each other, they can ask other professionals questions, and experts can help answer their questions. So next slide. So the pain point is right now there are lots of different discussion board forums, but they're all isolated islands. They only cater to that one topic or industry. So what Auxo is going to do is going to unite all the different professions together under one platform. It's going to make it easy for people to have access to one another. So they'll be able to build rapport with potential clients. They can help each other with their problems, answer their questions. An example of this would be like a lawyer asking a question about updating his legal website, the tech forum. And then any freelance web developer can answer his question. And whoever answers his question best, the lawyer can go ahead and request a consultation from them and hire them for their services. Each answer that they post in the Ask Expert section will have a request consultation button. So whoever reads that post can press that button and contact them to hire them for their services. If you go to the next slide. So what's commonly done right now on all the different social media is people post links to their articles or different articles all the time. But instead of just posting links, our platform will actually have a separate blogging feature, and people can actually publish and easily share their articles on different social media sites. So they can write how-to guides, case studies, blogs, things like that, anything they can do to leverage content marketing and help solve other people's problems with their specific expertise. So basically, we want people to stand on our platform to market themselves and promote themselves in a natural and helpful way instead of like a spammy interruption advertising kind of way. We want them to have real conversations and engage with one another. So our customer acquisition, our main strategy will be to rely on Facebook advertising, because Facebook is really good and you can highly specify all the target demographics you want by profession, by jobs, education, things like that. So we're going to target all these different business professionals with specific ads for lawyers, for accountants, things like that. And then we'll also, at the same time, target consumers or other small business owners to ask the experts any business questions they have. And then we'll also promote, you know, very interesting member discussion posts or articles they wrote on the different social media sites.
So I think we understand what you're trying to do, Victor. The first question that comes to my mind is LinkedIn does all these things. LinkedIn has the blogging platform. It is one of the best content marketing platforms for professionals in particular, and it has foot traffic. So what is it that you're doing that will, you know, interest people to move off LinkedIn and put their effort onto your program?
Simplicity. Simplicity. We want to simplify everything. Like, if you talk to a lot of people new to LinkedIn, they're going to say it's so complicated to use. There's so many features and different things, and you got to learn how to do everything. Some people don't even know how to publish.
I don't know. LinkedIn seems extremely simple to me. Publishing content on LinkedIn is extraordinarily simple, and it has incredible SEO.
Right.
And it has foot traffic.
Well,
so the thing that worries me, I'll tell you what worries me here is that where is the foot traffic going to come from? So that was my question. What is the revenue model? You're going to charge all these people who will want to publish on your platform, and you want them to pay for it. LinkedIn is free, and it has foot traffic. You don't have foot traffic. So how do you mitigate that? How do you compete with LinkedIn?
Right. So that's kind of the initial chicken and egg problem most multi-sided platforms face. But that's going to be the main problem. And once we get enough active members, I think we'll leverage network effects and scale growth. But
yeah, but that's not an answer, right? So how do you get critical mass? This is not an answer. I asked you the question, how are you going to get enough foot traffic? And you're answering, once we get the foot traffic, then we will do blah, blah, blah. That is not an answer. How are you going to get the foot traffic?
We're going to leverage Facebook advertising and try to just spread and promote as much as possible for now.
My core issue is that, can you guys hear me?
I was going to ask.
Oh, sorry. My core issue is that, you know, one thing that we use is, you know, in terms of acquisition is, you know, obviously we have profitable acquisition. So, you know, we spend X amount and then we know that there's going to be a return on that. And a lot of the lever is basically making sure that the acquisition is profitable. And we spend where we find profitable acquisition. My issue with this is, you know, you're basically spending money to not necessarily make money. And, you know, Facebook ads can get pretty expensive. So as an acquisition model, you're going to, you know, end up paying, you know, a certain amount. I mean, call it, you know, $10, $15, $20, $30 per user, maybe a lot more than that. And if you're not monetizing, it's going to be very, very difficult. And the monetization, there's like the chicken and egg, I think, is going to be hard to surmount as a bootstrap company unless there's a lot of money put into this. And even then, I think it's sort of a question mark.
And let me actually add to what Ricky just said to you, Victor. There will be no money that anybody will be willing to put into your company. So that option is off the table. It's not like you can finance this company. So therefore, you're going to have to bootstrap. You have no choice but to bootstrap. And if you're bootstrapping the company, you cannot really spend huge amounts of money to acquire the user base without monetizing it. So I don't think this is a viable business.
We do have a revenue model. So
yeah, but I think
everything will be free except for posting and the answers.
Victor, listen to Ricky. Go ahead, Ricky. I know what you're going to say. Yeah.
No, the point is that, at the end of the day, if you're spending $2 and you're making $3, so if you're spending $2, you're making $3, that's a winner. In EBITDA, you're winning. If you're spending, $3 and then, or $2 or $3, and then, you're making 20 cents, well, that company's not going to get very far, unless there's millions and millions.
This can be even worse. You will end up spending, the model that you're presenting here. Let me roll back to the slide here. You're presenting $5 to $10 a month is your subscription fee, and you're probably going to end up spending $50 to $100 to acquire a customer, and it may not be, it may not be viable at all to do this. So let's kind of talk about what may be paths that you could follow. If, for example, if you have the facilities for what I called do it for me, what you're presenting here is a do-it-yourself model. You are providing a blogging platform and kind of like a network to a whole bunch of people who are trying to market. Instead, if you create a do-it-for-me platform where you have a group of writers who are specialized in writing marketing copy for this channel, and because you're kind of building a social network and on one platform, you're going to get good SEO, you're going to SEO optimize the whole thing, that may be a more interesting thing. Then you're going to people saying that, okay, we will take charge of your content marketing and we will do your content marketing for you. And then instead of charging $5 to $10 a month, you charge a lot more than that. That may be a viable business. What you're presenting here is not a viable business.
Right, that makes sense. Maybe that could be like a premium feature we have for users.
I would say that's what you need to start with, and that will start generating cash. If you can put like a couple of people in place and just start working with a handful of customers, go find a handful of customers and start generating cash and start getting the model to work, start getting the platform to develop SEO, etc. That's the way to move this company forward.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm also just a little bit of a direct marketer, but I think that one thing I find a little difficult is when you're too general, you need such critical mass to make a general community work. When someone's typing, say for example, I have a scar, how do I minimize the scar? And you see, Real Self show up with dermatologists. Well, they've been able to SEO, they've been able to figure out their acquisition model for advertising, and because people are searching for specific things. So I would really think about, the actual tactical things that work and don't work, if that makes any sense. I think some internet marketing expertise will help you. I think, big ideas are great, but really I've learned that being able to tactically execute is actually really critical.
Yeah, and especially the nitty-gritties of, where do you focus? You have a broad set of categories that you're talking about focusing on. You will not get a lot of SEO if you go too broad. You need to go niche by niche by niche and develop really strong SEO, very specific stuff, very specific keyword concentration, etc. So there are a lot of nuances to digital marketing that you need to understand. There are a lot of nuances to content marketing that you need to understand. So that's where I would put in the next phase of focus.
Right.
All right. Thank you, Victor, for your presentation. We're moving to Susobhan Dey. Could you please unmute your line, Susobhan, and come and present what you're working on? Are you on the call? From Bangalore. Maureen, do you have any guidance on what's happening with Susobhan Dey? So while you're sorting through the technicalities, let me look at the questions here in public chat. Bobby Hofflish is offering a bunch of feedback, Victor Lim, to you. You may want to take a look at that. And Suhash Mehta, it's a very broad question, but in general, is there some guidance for how long should one plan on bootstrapping the company? But this is a complex question, Suhash. It's, you know, it really depends on your situation, what you want to do, how you want to do what you want to do. One thing we see a lot of is bootstrap first, raise money later. And for people who want to do venture style businesses. And then today you heard Ricky's story, and this company is bootstrapped 100% all the way to the scale that they've reached over $150 million in revenues, and that's all bootstrapped. We have stories of people who have reached $1 billion, actually $1 billion probably if they were to go value themselves, but you know, $500 million in revenue with completely no outside financing. So we'll go back to questions again later on. Susobhan, you're on the call, I believe. Yes? No? What's going on, Susobhan? So, can you speak up, Susobhan? Are you there? Okay, well, if you are not able to connect, then I'm afraid we cannot have you present, right? So I'm going to, if you're able to sort out whatever is your technical roadblock, please connect in and we will come back to you. I am going to go to a quick summary of 1M1M, and then we'll go to more Q&A. I know there are a lot of people in the room, and I would love to, you know, talk to all of them, have all of you, give all of you a chance to ask questions from Ricky and from me. Now, folks, if you'd like what we're doing here, please refer 1M1M to serious entrepreneurs, because our whole business and whole mission is about enabling and empowering serious entrepreneurs, not the folks who have unrealistic ideas about how to build a business. It takes a long time to build a successful business, and we are interested in working with those kinds of entrepreneurs who are willing to put that time, effort, discipline into building a company. And those are the kinds of entrepreneurs we are looking to engage with. Resources-wise, you'll find everything at 1Mby1M.com. You can start also with the blog series, which is a free resource, and it's chock full of really high-quality material, both educational material, inspirational material, informational material, trends, everything in the technology and technology-enabled services industry. You can use the Entrepreneur Journeys book series. There are 12 volumes of Entrepreneur Journeys books, and these are, you know, case study-based learning materials. You will find 12 to 16 case studies in each book, and then there is synthesis and methodology guidance in each of these cases, and you can double-click down on a particular topic, whatever you want to learn more about. These roundtables happen every week. We are approaching, this is the 348th roundtable. In a couple of sessions, we are hitting 350, which is a major milestone for us. The full-blown acceleration program from 1M1M is 1M1M Premium. And there you get extensive methodology guidance, a full curriculum, which is an online curriculum that you do at your own time. It's a video lectures and case study-based curriculum. We help you with business development. We help you with strategy consulting. We have sessions like these that are intense sessions that are private roundtables. Now, on the financing side, not every company is financeable. So we often look at companies that are starting off not being financeable, but want to become financeable and have the characteristics of how to become financeable. We can guide you through that process. Some companies will never become financeable, and that's okay. In that case, we will give you strategies that are bootstrapping related strategies, and you navigate accordingly. And then if you do become financeable, when you do become financeable, we can introduce you to entrepreneurs, to investors. We work with a ton of investors. And the last point is we have tremendous clout in the media. So if you're trying to get the word out about what you do, we can help you there using our channels. So that's all included in the $1,000 annual membership fee 1M1M premium program. Now, one thing I want you to all think about, and this is again reinforcing the discipline point that Ricky made earlier, go through a really rigorous self-assessment of your strategy. There's a 1M1M self-assessment on the web, on our homepage, and it's free. Try to answer these questions. These are, rigorous questions that you have to answer if you want to build a really good, solid company. And investors would ask you these questions, but you should be asking them of yourselves whether or not investors are in the picture. If you have methodology gaps in answering these questions, if you get stuck, let's say you don't understand certain questions, how to do certain things, you can do the curriculum on your own. 1M1M Basic is a curriculum-only option, and that's only $99 a month. You can really study the curriculum, learn the methodology, and try to answer those questions. And then if you decide that you want to engage, more deeply and use the full acceleration program, switch to 1M1M Premium. But you have, very easy entry points into the program as well. Anyway, that's kind of all I want to tell you in terms of the program. Go dig around on the website, see if this program is for you. It is a very rigorous program, and it assumes that you are going to be doing the work and doing the work on a lot of the work on your own, and using these private roundtables to come and talk to me. Now, that may not be something you're comfortable with. So join the program if you are comfortable with that model. If you're not comfortable with that model, we cannot customize the program to your learning style. This program is set up for a certain learning style. Our assumption is entrepreneurs are self-starters, self-motivated people. And successful entrepreneurs have to be self-starters. They have to be self-motivated people. And if you're looking for more hand-holding, more guidance, more spoon-feeding, we are not capable of doing any of that. So that's an expectation we will inevitably fail to meet, so don't join the program if that's your expectation. There are lots of FAQs on the website, and the curriculum is all case studies and video lectures. We've had 750 plus successful entrepreneurs who have come to the forum, shared their journeys, their lessons from the trenches, given you advice, etc. And we have all this stitched up into a very, very intense curriculum, and you'll learn a lot standing on the shoulders of these people who have already done it and are being very generous in sharing this with you. As you saw, Ricky was very elaborate in discussing how he has navigated his journey. Our methodology is lean, capital efficient, bootstrap startups. Even if you want to raise money, you're going to need to go through this early bootstrapping phase, and then you may be able to raise money, but you have to be very disciplined and very rigorous. That is the ethos of the program. That's pretty much it. And we have roundtables every Thursday until the end of May, so actually probably until the end of June. So go ahead and book your slot, and let's get to work. Line is open. You're very welcome to call in, and public chat is also open. Anybody who wants to ask questions, you can continue asking questions. Also, please introduce yourself. Tell us who you are, where you're joining from, what brings you here so that we can get to know you. It's a community, and you want to network. So questions. Suhash Mehta is asking, when we go for raising external dollars, does it help with investors to show that we have bootstrapped and have our skin in the game too? Absolutely. The main thing that investors are looking for is not so much how much skin in the game you have, but how much validation have you got. And to get to validation with bootstrapping, you will inevitably have skin in the game. What investors are interested in is not how much money you've put in or how many years you've put in or how much of your own dollars are in the company. What they're looking to see is how much validation and how much traction have you accumulated, and that's what determines their interest in your company. Duck Dealer, is it provide access to few modules in basic program just to access if it is a fit for us or not? No. You basically go and access the program, the basic program for $99. $99 is not going to break your bank. If $99 breaks your bank, I'm afraid we cannot help you because we provide you enormous amount of free material. You can go to the YouTube channel and access huge amounts of material for free. If that doesn't convince you, then I'm afraid you probably should skip all our paid programs. We have priced it as cheaply as possible, $99 a month for curriculum only and $1,000 a year for the entire acceleration program. If you do not want to pay that money, then probably we are not the best partner to work with you. Anybody else? Questions, comments, introductions. Let me also introduce you to Irina Patterson, who will give you feedback about the 1M1M program. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to her. Victor Lim, just wondering what participants think of the idea of using a modernized discussion board like Auxo. Actually, Victor, you have a bunch of feedback up. You know, if you scroll up in the public chat, you have some comments. Bobby Hoflish, for instance, says there are other sites like Ask How, Fix It, etc. that do similar things. Yeah, and then there's Quora, there's answers.com, there's all kinds of forums where this kind of content Q&A happens. Folks, questions?
Can you hear me?
Who is this?
This is Susobhan. I'm from Bangalore.
Oh, okay. Well, let's go to your slide then. You managed to call in, okay? Hold on 1 second. Just let me. All right, go ahead, Susobhan. Let's hear your pitch.
Yeah. So myself, Susobhan. I'm basically from Calcutta, but living 10 years, last 10 years in Bangalore. So I'm the founder and the chief labor of a company called HamaCare. Yeah. So could you please go to the next slide? Yeah. So this HamaCare is basically a core technology-driven home healthcare startup, but we are going to address certain major factors that no one is still addressing. So yeah. Okay. So basically, one big thing is missing in India, that is quality video consultation. I somehow feel that if you can provide a quality video consultation with large number of doctors, then somehow people can accept it. And so this video consultation is one service that I'm going to provide. So it's not it's basically we are paid to have some certain good APIs where you can have a quality video consultation. But that is not the main thing that we are focusing, because I introduced this service because it's missing in India, and I have a large network of doctors, my friends, my seniors, and all. So who basically very encouraged about that video consultation.
So let's try to understand this, Susobhan. You want to offer a network of doctors who will provide video consultation to people who have questions about their health, whatever issues they're dealing with. You're basically offering to do video telemedicine essentially.
Yeah, kind of telemedicine, but we have a pool of doctors. So we have a segment where user can actually write down their symptoms, or they can actually choose any doctor that they want, and then schedule a video consultation for a certain date or certain period of time. The slots are available when the doctors are free and all.
And how are you going to put together a network of doctors that is going to scale, or you want to do this in a small scale with some doctors that you know, and you just want to create a business around a small pool of doctors that you have already talked to and who want to be part of something like this?
Yeah, so initially I started with my friend who just passed the MBBS and MD. After that, then I enter into their network and start communicating with good hospitals like even Bangalore, Apollo, and all other hospitals. So they found this model very suitable, and they are to register with us.
So, I mean, it seems like a very kind of nebulous idea at this point. There is a lot going on in telemedicine. There's a lot going on with people providing online consultation and so on and so forth. It's not clear to me what is special about your offering.
Yeah. So this is not a special thing that we are offering, because I am providing video consultation just because of that. I have a ready network, and in India this video consultation service is missing. So that is the reason I want to provide it in India. And the next service that I am providing, so that is a set of preventive packages. So my main motive is to early detection and management of the risk factors for any kind of non-communicable medical disease. So for the sake of that, we design our preventive packages. The people can take the preventive packages so that they can manage the risk early. So we are developing a software called HamaCare. It will basically on the basis of your reports, any person's medical report, it will create a health projection graph, and to you to have a proper insurance policy because different people need a different health insurance policy. So using this diagnosis software, what we are offering. So say for example, like right now this diabetes become a diabetes at the age of 35, or a fatty liver patient, or any kind of disease. It is very normal in India due to the food habits or other lifestyle diseases. Okay, so what we are offering is that you take our service. So we'll come to your doorstep after every 6 months or 3 monthly or 6 monthly package is there. So we will do initial pro forma that for the better suit of any kind of preventive package that suits better for you, and then you take the package for after every 3 months and every 6 months. And what we are doing a predictive analysis. We are doing an analysis of all your existing records with the latest record to find out is there any kind of variation. We did some here, some algorithm which will actually detect.
So let me see if I can understand and help everybody else understand what you're saying. So you want people, you want your clients or your patients to upload all the reports about their health that they have onto your platform, and you have a pool of doctors and you have software with which you want to analyze that and establish some sort of a concierge relationship over video and phone kind of services, remote medicine, telemedicine kind of relationship with this pool of patients. Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely. Yes. Yes.
Okay. And so how much are you going to charge for this?
Initially, I mean, so it's basically I haven't fixed the rate, whatever, because that anyway needs to discuss to have a. But we are in a way to currently we are mostly focusing on our software development because it's a it's a kind of a deep learning algorithm. It's a lot more sampling is required, a lot more data is required. So I'll just give you a small example because I don't have much slide to present. Say for example, comparative analysis is one part of the software. Another part is like, so we are collecting the medical reports, medical mistakes, all the diagnosis reports. So those are our learning data. Say for example, on 2012, a person had a massive cardiac attack. So after the cardiac attack, whatever the blood test he gone through, right? So we try to collect those data. So those.
So how are you collecting that data? I think there are two issues here in terms of the body of data that you collect, that you need to accumulate in your platform to be, for your deep learning platform to be meaningful is not easy to collect. So what is your strategy for collecting a vast amount of data based on which you can create models? That's number one. And number two is, this is a question that the audience is also asking, is how do you build this doctor network? Why would doctors be interested in being part of your network? So you're saying more than 500 doctors from different locations are ready to sign up with you. What is the motivation? What are you learning about these people?
Because my only differentiation that I'm making is the software. So I think that this kind of software is missing. So say for example, I can tell you whether, say for example, your reports are normal, you are pretty happy, but I can do some predictive analysis. I can tell you that okay, near future you may have a chance to become a doctor. So that is my plus point, and that is the reason. And I have a proof of concept.
So that's why the doctors are interested in being part of this network. Now, how do you get the data based on which you develop your model? What is the strategy for that?
So, so in the first part for the comparative analysis, we don't need much data. We only need that that any home health service that basically providing home health service, including us also, whenever a patient registers with us, then we will basically get to, we will get the this control of this data, right? So apart from that, real data that we require for our deep learning algorithm. So my doctor circle that I already told about that there are a lot of friends of mine who are already reputed doctors in good organization. So they are somehow giving me certain good data through which I can actually build up my software.
So these 500 doctors that you have already talked to, they are willing to connect their patients into your platforms, and your data collection strategies through these doctors and their patients. That's what you're saying?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, got it. Ricky, what are your thoughts? Oh, Ricky's gone? Okay, never mind. Sorry. Ricky was supposed to stay 30 minutes and you were supposed to speak in that time, but you couldn't connect, so never mind.
Yeah, sorry.
So okay, we got it. We got the two-sided equation of this starting to come together. Now, what we need to come up with a pricing model, Susobhan. This is, yes, you're going to need to build the software and everything, and all that is fine. And the fact that you have a job, I assume, or are you doing this full time?
Yeah, I already, I have a job. So currently I'm working in 2 shifts from morning 7 to 4. I'm working for my company. I'm quite responsible there.
Good.
And then
keep your job. Because, I've talked a lot about bootstrapping with a paycheck. We even have a book on this. We have lots of content on bootstrapping with a paycheck. It is the best way to bootstrap a company, especially since you are a software developer yourself and you're developing the software yourself. This is the best way for you to move forward. So keep the job, and we can definitely help you, figure out how to put one foot before the other while keeping the job, and then you can figure out all the we'll help you figure out the pricing model and business model and everything if you decide to use 1M1M as your accelerator.
Yeah, so gradually I need to shift my attention to my startup. So and the part is that I continue attending the seminars, the startup seminars that is going on in Bangalore or outer Bangalore, and somehow I managed to convince 2 guys who is freshly graduated from the Kharagpur IIT to work with me. They love the software that I'm doing, so they'll probably start working with me soon. From the next month, they'll working with me.
And
so
they have also jobs. They're also going to be doing this in a moonlighting mode. Yeah, perfect. So all three of you keep your jobs, and then that would be the best way for you to move forward. Okay, very good.
Yeah,
very good. Actually, if you can use your doctor network to get the data and build the model while you have your job, and then start monetizing using this, through these doctors networks. I think this is something that you can get to validation and get to, both business model validation, pricing model validation, all of it you will be able to get to within a reasonable time while you have your jobs, and then we'll see how to, shift you out of the jobs. Great, excellent. You're welcome. All right, folks, line is open. We have a bit of time to do more Q&A. All of you, by the way, who have presented, Victor, Susobhan, you have a whole bunch of feedback and questions from other people in the room. So go to the public chat and feel free to dialogue with people who are asking questions about your business, and, feel free to use the rest of the peer group here as well. Jane Semakova, what is the best money-raising strategy for entrepreneurs who basically live in the middle of nowhere? Jane, the best thing is customers. The best thing is to sell a product or a service to customers, and that is the best kind of money that you can raise. Does that answer your question? Where are you from, Jane? Where do you live? Where are you based? And what are you working on? What is your project? Montenegro, okay. And what are you working on? What is the project? So folks, 1Mby1M is open to anyone, anywhere in the world. You can be in Timbuktu, you can be in Antarctica, no problem. You're welcome to use 1Mby1M. Others, introductions? How about telling us where you're joining from, who you are, what are you working on, so that everybody gets to know one another? What projects are you working on? No? No more questions? All right, folks, reach out to Irina if you have questions about the 1M1M program. And as I said, there are every Thursday morning, Pacific time, 8 a.m., and whatever that translates into in your geography, we are here for a while now. I'm traveling in July, but until then, we have roundtables every week. So book your slot, and we will definitely, work you into the program next time. Suhash Mehta is asking, if we reveal our ideas on 1M1M and our employer finds out, how are we protected? Actually, you may want to disclose to your employer that you're doing something on the side. These days, employers tend not to have too much of a problem with people bootstrapping with a paycheck, because it's such a big trend. And in some cases, depends on what kind of a company you work with, what kind of business you're doing, you're working on. You may even get support from the employer. Some employers have incubation programs and so forth. So it really depends. So Suhash, I could advise you more closely if I knew what you were doing, where you work, etc. But those are my general thoughts. Sachin Kanade, folks, don't send me private messages, please. This is a public roundtable. Sachin Kanade is asking, is from Trivandrum, India, working in Oracle as software project leader. Could you advise how to get market serve? I don't understand your question at all, Sachin. So those of you who are from Oracle, we do have another edition of the Oracle 1M1M Challenge running right now. Applications are due later in the month. So, you know, all that information is available, again, on the website. The application is available on the website. Maureen can share the application link with you here. So if you're from Oracle, you are very welcome to apply for, you know, for that scholarship. Oracle is sponsoring a whole bunch of Oracle employees to go through 1M1M, and that's an example actually of the kind of things that employers are doing to teach you entrepreneurship skills, and in some cases you get to develop your ideas within your employer's umbrella. Anybody else? Any other questions, comments, introductions? All right, well, we'll see you next time, same place, same time, and we will continue working on your projects. Remember, this is a working session. We are here to work with you every Thursday morning, and for the premium members, we work with them throughout the week. So let's keep going, let's keep building, and let's make a lot of successful businesses happen. Bye-bye, take care.